Hey, welcome to Cow-Free Kicks. On this channel I review leather-free sneakers only, and this video is the first ever barefoot shoe that has been specifically made for running that I am aware of, and it is the VIVOBAREFOOT Primus FLOW. Welcome to the channel. If you've not seen one of my videos before, and if you have, I apologize because I say the same thing every time. I always look into 5 different categories when I review a pair of sneakers, and then at the end of the video, I will give these VIVOBAREFOOT Primus Flows an overall rating out of 5 stars. And if you do like what you see as you're going along, please do not forget to click the little thumbs up like button below on your device. And if you've not done so already, please do take the extra 2 seconds to subscribe to the channel. So let's start this review off as we always do by first checking these VIVOBAREFOOTs out on feet. The VIVOBAREFOOT Primus Flows are currently available in 3 different colorways via the VIVOBAREFOOT website. I personally think this coconut colorway and the black colorways are the best, that are really going to transition nicely as an everyday lifestyle and summer shoe, as well as their intended purpose, which is for a fitness running shoe. Now you're going to think that these are in no way going to be a running shoe because of the way that they look, but let's start now talking about what a barefoot shoe is in essence. And it's a shoe that has a very flat midsole and outsole unit to it. It also has pretty much 0 midsole to it as well, because they're trying to create less materials between you and the earth to promote really good foot health, good balance and good posture, and also for you to use those muscles again and reconnect you to the earth that are kind of missing when you do use a very high cushioned midsole unit. They're always really very low profile. They kind of follow the flow of your feet, so they're a lot lower than traditional sneakers. And also they're much wider in the toe box to promote a foot spread, so your toes spread out more and they're not scrunched up, and they've got a more of a natural flow from little toe to big toe. But when you compare them to my current runners at the moment, these are the Mount to Coast S1s, and you can see that they've got an incredibly chunky midsole unit. They've got more padding on the top and more of a structure to them. You're probably thinking that's why I can't run in these, because of the lack of structure, but recently, a VIVOBAREFOOT team have just ran a 350-mile day and night marathon in these, and they've performed excellently. What you need to do with these is change your running style if you're going to use these, and we'll talk about that more in the comfort section. But overall, looks-wise, I think they look really nice. There's some VIVOBAREFOOT branding on the upper. The upper is 100% recycled, as are the laces. There is an ETPU 4mm foam insert that also sits underneath this outsole that you're going to see with these VIVOBAREFOOTs, which is 2mm of the outsole on top of the 4mm. So it does give you some protection and some return in terms of energy return when you're running these. You don't normally see these in the lifestyle shoes that are normally produced by VIVOBAREFOOT. There's really pretty much 0 midsole in them. But that obviously, because these are a running shoe, it's to give you that little bit of extra support, and you can't really have them without any midsole at all because of the extra exertion that you're going to put on your feet and your body when you are running in these. But now I want to talk more about these in the comfort section, where I want to put them to the test on my back doorstep. Another characteristic of barefoot shoes is the fact that they're incredibly flexible. So these VIVOBAREFOOT Primus Flows, you can scrunch up in one hand and they'll ping back and return to their natural shape incredibly quickly. They've got a really nice responsive bounce back to them when you do that flexibility test. And when you're wearing them on feet, it's a different experience in comfort than you would normally expect from a shoe that's got an incredibly large, chunky midsole on them, because you don't get that energy return and responsive bounce back that you'd expect. But with these, because they do have that ETPU insert in them, it does feel like you're getting a bit more than you would normally get from a lifestyle shoe from VIVOBAREFOOT. And obviously with these designed for running, that is going to be very beneficial. Now, Liverpool University university have recently done a study where it shows that it will improve your foot strength by 60% if you wear barefoot shoes for a prolonged period of time, which is amazing. And that does prove that there is some science behind these VIVO barefoot shoes and the fact that they are going to improve your foot health in the longer term. Now, wearing these as a running shoe, I can see where people might think it's not going to offer you enough of a cushion. Now, they do say that what you want to do with these shoes is run slower. You want to do a little bit more of a foot roll exercise and do some squats before you start running to get your feet ready for running in barefoot shoes. You're not going to be able to have probably the same pace at the start as you do. You need to kind of train your feet to run slightly differently, which means if you are going to wear these for running, start by running slower. Now, comfort-wise, they do feel nice underfoot, but an incredibly different experience to anything you'd expect with a chunky midsole on them, because you just don't get that energy return and bounce back. But you do get that connection with the ground, and I do really like how they feel when you're walking on them, because your feet can flex and move with the undulations like they wouldn't normally if you were wearing a chunkier midsoled shoe. Fit-wise, definitely go a full size up for me. I go one full size up with Vivo Barefoots in every pair that I've ordered, and they always fit me really nicely. I would at least advise, if you're in between sizes, definitely go for the size up. And they have got a tool online where you can measure your feet. Not a tool that you can measure your feet online, but if you measure your feet and then go online, they've got a size chart that will tell you where you fit. I fit right on the cusp of a UK size 10 in terms of how long they are, so I always go a size up and get the UK 11 in these, even though my feet are a UK 10. So just bear in mind, you might want to switch your sizes. But overall, a really nice experience underfoot. Now I want to talk more about their weight, where I'm going to pop them on the scales. Easily the lightest shoe that I'll probably ever review on the channel. 177 grams per shoe. It's an absolutely insane weight for a pair of sneakers, and obviously that's because there's very little upper on these, and the midsole and outsole materials that they've used are incredibly lightweight too. So overall, 177 grams is insane, and that also adds to the experience of almost not wearing a shoe and having that connection again with the earth. And you're not kind of lugging around any weight on your feet at all, because total weight for these is just over 350 grams, and that is mad because that is normally what one shoe weighs. So an insane weight. Now I want to talk more about their breathability, where I'm going to pump the recycled upper full of smoke to see how breathable it is. Amazing result in the breathability test. This pretty much seamless recycled mesh upper is incredibly breathable. The smoke came out so quickly and in such large amounts. And also at the back of the shoe, you can see on the inside that there's also perforations in this additional material that's added towards the back. And there's some small amounts of padding on the heel as well to increase the comfort. But even around those areas, there's also perforations. So around the whole shoe, you're going to get insane breathability. Now I want to move on to their price. Now these will set you back £150 per shoe. And I do think that's quite a reasonable price, considering the amount of research and the amount of effort to make this a more environmentally friendly shoe, as well as the fact that it's just one of those shoes that I think is going to offer you a lot more than you may think, because of the fact that it can increase your foot strength by so much. And I would advise with barefoot shoes is to give them a try. Vivo Barefoot have got a 100-day returns guarantee, so if you're not happy, you can return it. Do check their terms and conditions on the website. And also, if you are interested, I do have a 20% off code, so it's COW20. So if you're in the UK, for example, that will save you £30, reducing the price of these to 120, which makes it a lot nicer on the wallet. So if you do want to use that code, it's COW20. And that's going to bring me on for my overall score for these shoes. And I'm going to give them a very strong 4 stars. I can't quite give them the full 5 stars because I do have my concerns about these being worn as a very long-term running shoe proposition. I've just grown up my whole life with mid-soled shoes, but I'd be very interested to see if I wore these for a long period, how that would translate, and I am going to give it a go. So I do think 4 stars is fair, because looks wise I do still think that barefoot shoes are lacking slightly, but overall a really, really great shoe from Vivo Barefoot. Now, if you've liked what you've seen today, please do not forget to give the video a thumbs up right before you leave. You can also follow me on Instagram, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.